All right. Well, I will introduce Weinberg Choi, the admin team. These ladies are Anita, Kennedy, and Allie. I used to work with them on the Weinberg Choi team for the past like 2.5 years, a year ago. That's where I came from. And they have a awesome team. I don't know. I mean, I can speak to both sides. I started on the admin team and then moved to the buyers team, and it was pretty seamless, all of my transactions, because of these ladies, and they just run a really tight ship there. So if you all three want to just introduce yourselves and what you do for the team, that would be great.
Yeah, I can go first. My name is Anita. Hi, everyone. I am the transaction coordinator for Weinberg Choi, and then I also kind of do a little bit of DOO management and hiring as well. I've been on the team for about 4 years now.
I can go. Can you guys hear me? Okay, my microphone's been weird lately. My name's Allie. I am the listing manager for Weinberg Choi. I've been on the team for like 2.5 years maybe now. I actually took over Sydney's role when she became an agent as the EA, and then I'm now the listing manager. So I'm excited to mastermind with all you guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kennedy. I've been on the team since October, so not too long, like 7 months, but I'm the marketing coordinator. So I do all the events, social media, and all that fun stuff. So, and I also do a little bit of transaction coordination with Anita when she needs me, but yep, that's about it.
Okay, great. I just have a question. Would everyone just like turn their cameras on? So I just feel like, or unless you're driving or something, I just feel like I can't see anyone, and I feel like it would make the conversation better. Thank you. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Peggy. All right. Well, if you want to begin, if anyone has any questions to start out, just based on like Weinberg Choi's systems and structures, and whether it's transaction coordination or more like marketing side.
Yeah, if you guys could maybe start off and just telling us a little bit about like the size of your team, what kind of volume your team's doing, and then I think we've been having conversations internally in our admin group a lot about the relationship between the team functionality, the admins, and the rainmakers, and their responsibilities to the agents, and then also the agents' responsibilities back to the team. So any insights about maybe some of the systems that you guys have in place? How are you like really making that strong relationship?
Yeah, I can kind of touch on a little bit of that, and then the girls can take over as well. So our team, we are currently at 16 people on our team. Last year, we ended the year at about 103 million with 190 transactions. We have us 3 on the admin side, 5 buyers agents. We have 2 rainmakers. We have showing specialists. So that's kind of what our team entails, the listing side as well. And then as far as accountability, I think that we have the way that our team is structured with accountability and meetings and things like that is we all meet every single week, and we meet in individual meetings as well as group and team meetings. And I think that's pretty much what gives us seamless communication. So for example, on Mondays, we have our team meeting that every single person on our team is a part of, and we go over numbers, where we're at. So everyone on the team at all times knows how many we have under contract at that time, what our goal is for that week. So we build our goals together for the week at our Monday meetings. And then I hop into the buyers team meeting every single Monday, where I will go over every single transaction with each agent to see where we're at. And after that Monday meeting on Tuesdays, our agents call their clients with the updates that I provide them. So having kind of that two-way conversation where I know where every transaction is at as well as the agent knows, and we both know what the other person is working on. I think that's a huge accountability piece. And then Allie can kind of touch on the listing side, how she does the communication on that end.
Yeah, so every Monday morning at 9 a.m., the listing team, which we have 2 listing agents, myself, and then we hired a leasing specialist, I think probably 2 months ago. So we meet every Monday and we do the same thing as the buyers team. We basically go through every single command opportunity. They provide me with updates where they're at in the listing process. And then basically from there, same thing on Tuesdays, our listing agents will call their clients. If they're already live on the market, we'll do like open house feedback from the weekend, all that good stuff. And then same thing with our leasing specialist. We'll just go over any updates she has if there was any applicants over the weekend. As far as the question regarding who runs the meeting, I will run the listing team meeting. Our team meeting is directly after, and we'll actually, so Josh, our rainmaker, used to run it every Monday, and he actually, I think probably like 6 months ago, maybe probably a year ago, actually, we ended up, he now like invites, he sends a calendar invite to somebody different every week, and we just rotate. And we actually decided to like say, I ran it this Monday, Kennedy would run it next Monday. And so it gives everyone a chance to run the meeting, and we have the same agenda every week. And if Anita wants to take over again, she actually updates the numbers and all the metrics from the agents on our team. But yeah, so it kind of rotates who runs that general team meeting, but the agenda is the same every week, and we go over the same exact numbers just to hold everyone accountable and share what we did both the previous week and over the weekend. So yeah, Anita, if you want to go over the metrics that you update for the agenda.
Yeah, so we have a couple of metric sheets that the agents are responsible for updating. So it's their appointments, their under contracts, their goals, things like that that are updated every single Sunday night. So they're responsible for updating that metric sheet, and that's where I gathered the data for the meeting. The meeting is pretty much, we just have it on a Word doc, and I update the numbers. It's probably like 5 pages long, but we go over basically like the statistics from the last week, how many we had under contract, what our GCI was. We actually profit share back to our team now. So we go over the profit for every single month that and how much we're giving back, things like that. And then as Ali said, I do update the meeting, but we have found that rotating and doing that rotation of people leading the meeting, it kind of makes them pay attention more, and they have to be conscious of the numbers they're reading versus just sitting there and listening to the numbers every single week. So I do think that that's helped with people being able to keep track of where we're at as well. So I think just empowering people to lead and know what's going on the team has been a huge accountability piece as well.
Yeah, even for me, sorry to cut in, but when I started, I wasn't in real estate before, I was just marketing. So leading that team meeting really helped me actually understand all the behind the scenes and the numbers. It did hold me accountable myself, just to make sure that I actually understood where these numbers were coming from and what they were. So I think leading the team meeting for the first time, even though it was scary, it definitely helps all of us involved, keeps everybody interested in paying attention and holding themselves accountable.
And then just a few other examples of accountability. I mean, we have like a referral tracking spreadsheet where the agents are responsible to, if a lead gets passed to them, they have to, it's a Google sheet, yep. They have to update that where the lead came from, if they've reached out to that contact. And then we also do send like a mug for every single referral. So that also prompts Kennedy to send the mug to that referral. And every single Monday we'll open that referral sheet, and Josh and Tommy are typically the ones that are sending those leads. So they'll call people out like, hey, did you reach out to this referral? So that's helped with not getting leads. Like in the past, I think the reason we started doing this is we would pass a lead to somebody, and then 2 weeks later would be like, what about those clients? And nobody would know who anyone was talking about. So that is a system that has changed probably in the last year and a half or so, and it's been a huge help. Yeah, we have an accounting spreadsheet that anybody can access at any time to see where the transactions are at, if they've been paid out, things like that. We pretty much use Command as our CRM and as our transaction management. So agents have that ability to see where any transaction is at any time, as well as their commission, things like that. So visibility to the whole team, I would say, is important, but also a lot of agents will not go in there and check, as I'm sure you guys know. So just having that communication on Mondays as well. That
Can I ask a question? I was
Yeah.
just surprised to hear a team of your size is using Command. How are you finding it as a team?
So I actually did the switch to Command probably like 2 months after it rolled out. And I was using Trello before, and I just pretty much transferred all of my checklists and everything over. And it was a huge learning curve. So I will say that I struggled with it a lot at first. I've kind of tweaked it now to where it works for us. And we just updated like all of the stages and cards and stuff to be able to hold all of that data. But now I feel like it's very smooth. I mean, Allie uses it for all of her transactions from pre-listing to on market, and I use it from under contract to close. And I haven't had any issues with the one piece that I will say is it doesn't have like where you can put your key contacts and things like that. So I use like the notes section. So just kind of tweaking it to make it work for the way that I use it. But I haven't, probably in the last year or so, I haven't had any issues.
So do you work
Yeah.
under the one Rainmaker?
Yes. So me and Allie both use, and Kennedy, we both use Tommy's account, and then we have visibility of everything. Cause yeah, that team function, I don't even know, to be honest, if it ever rolled out. I know that they were saying like, oh, it's going to roll out next month, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know if that ever rolled out, but we've always just used one account and it's worked fine.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. You guys.
I have another question if no one else wants to jump in. How do you, it's kind of related to listings and marketing, and how do you, what's kind of your method of communicating between like an agent says, okay, this is coming soon, you know, we've got a new listing, the listing's going to be coming soon this date, active this date. What's your flow of communication between your listing and closings team and marketing, and knowing when to post something or when the photos are in and updated and stuff? What's kind of like your internal workflow for that?
So I can answer that and then pass it to Kennedy. But before Kennedy started, I was posting all of our listings on like Facebook and Instagram, and mind you, it was very half-assed because excuse my language, but it was just like I was doing the whole listing management thing and then posting them on like Facebook and then sending it to the client and never doing anything else. So thank God for Kennedy, because she can actually focus on marketing and do that for our team. So basically, for the flow of communication, it was super helpful every Monday, just because we would meet with the listing team. And I would say we typically, unless it's like a one-off situation where somebody reaches out and wants to list their home and they say like, oh, we'll be ready next fall. I feel like typically we know for the next like 3 to 4 weeks what's coming live. So if we're able to, and if the sellers are ready for like photos and all that, then we have been like doing photos, getting everything ready. And then as long as we listed on like the PLN and TAN, that's something we're working on, is doing more like coming soon, where we put it on the PLN and TAN and then we can market it as coming soon. That's something I've been working on for a while and trying to get ahead of. So we don't do that as much, but it's been super, super helpful just knowing like, okay, next week, like this and this and this are coming live, and the following week, these listings are coming live. So I basically know for the next few weeks out, like what we need marketing for. And we have, yeah, thank you, Sydney. We have somebody that creates all of our, like, basically it's a photo of the listing and then it has the neighborhood and then it has the property address underneath. Kennedy also does all of our marketing stuff for us on Canva, which she can speak to. But yeah, so basically what I'll do is I'll send the clients a like live on the market email. And then as soon as they're live on the market, Kennedy and I communicate where I'll send her the property address. She can find everything necessary on the MLS and in our Google Drive folder, which is where we keep all of our listing photos and marketing photos. And she'll post it. And then as soon as she posts it, she'll send me the link basically, and then I'll send it to the clients. So that's what we've been doing so far for listing marketing. And then yeah, Kennedy, if you want to, I know you use like Canva mostly, but I know you do track like the metrics and stuff through Facebook and all that. So I'll let you take that over.
Yeah. So when Allie sends me the go ahead of a address, then I usually will post it to both. It depends on how many listings we have that week. I don't like to post 5 listings in a day on Instagram, or even if it's 2 or 3, it gets a little bit much, but Facebook is usually my always go to. I always do them on Facebook. And when I do that, it's just the address. I don't usually do the price when it's first listed. I just do 5 or 4 like big, you know, this many, it has a great backyard. It has this, has that. And then once I post that with the virtual tour as well, I will usually boost it. And with that comes a lot of metrics as well. You can see who's clicking on it. I even sometimes do like a learn more button, and they will send me their email address. Then when it comes time for an open house, I will send them an email of more information and when the open house is. So that's I think helped us too, to see. It's kind of cool to see who actually wants to see it. And if it's in the North Shore, I can target my audience to that area, which is helpful as well. So, and then as for Canva, I use that a lot for mostly everything else besides listings, unless it's for an open house. But yeah, it's kind of my process after she.
Okay, just a follow-up question. So like from how much lead time do you feel like you need between when you know something's, you know, how much of a cushion do you have between when you receive the information and knowing the date, and then like creating the Canva or creating the post and then posting it? Like what's kind of the turnaround time?
As soon as Allie gets it to me, I usually try and get it done that day. I don't know how long her section of that time is, but I have a template to where it's usually pretty easy for me to throw it all together and look at the description that she's created on the MLS. That makes it very easy for me. So usually within a few hours, I get it posted.
I can kind of touch on the question in the chat where it's the onboarding and the creating relationships with agents. I would say that the biggest benefit, or a lot of the benefits that are being on our team for agent wise, is we have them just focus on their 20%, then we do the rest. So a lot of the things that we do as the admin team directly correlate with the benefits of being an agent on the team. So I think that builds that relationship. For example, we do a 36 touch, and kind of going back to the accountability piece, anybody that's not in the database in command is not being touched. So we kind of hold our agents accountable in that sense for uploading all of their contacts, but we do 36 touches to the entire database. So that's a huge benefit for our agents. We do all of their marketing, so they're not responsible for any of that. We also have quarterly offsites where we empower the agents to give us systems that they want to work on, or that they want us to work on for them. So we revamp systems, or we provide feedback every single quarter as a team, and we go offsite for about like 5 to 6 hours and just pretty much lay the fish on the table and say like, here's what's going wrong, here's what needs to be fixed. So I think that's giving them the power to, or like empowering them to give us feedback on our systems, I think is huge. And then also we do like a fun event for the team every single month, whatever that may be. So just giving and like building a culture of a team that they want to be on, that's our biggest piece, I think, for retaining.
Do you want to talk more about like your whole 36 touch plan and like what client events you have and what other like marketing, whether it's social media, like your Wednesday win, stuff like that? Just the whole.
Kennedy can definitely touch on
Yeah,
it.
I can take it away on that one. So for a 36 touch, that can go anywhere from, I write a handwritten birthday card to each client for their birthday, but it also is we're coming up with a dog event. So anyone, even if they don't have a dog, can come and get some food from a food truck, but then also bring a dog and they'll get a bandana and some treats. But we'll do that. We'll also do a pie giving event. So around Thanksgiving, they can come get a pie from us, just show our appreciation for them. And I will market those on all social media platforms as well, so people know about it. Send them an evite so I know who's coming, how many pies to get. We try and do client events. I'm trying to think, maybe every like 2-3 months,
It's six,
depending on, what'd you say, Nita?
6 events per year.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we try and keep them a little bit spread out. So that's been pretty helpful for me as well. So they're not back-to-back months, but our next one is next month. And well as Instagram and Facebook and all that fun stuff. We do Wednesday Win. Every Wednesday we talk about that in our team meeting on Monday. We come up as a team, what do we think we did best? Whether that be a new team member or how many closings we had or the volunteer event we did the week before. It could be anything like that. And that's something I post on Wednesdays. I also try and do a motivational Monday story post. I try and do a few stories a week. Fridays, post all the open houses. And then usually within there, I try to do Tuesday or Thursday, one like the just listed, but those can be really any day just thrown in. Sometimes it's better to keep it fluid so it's not getting too repetitive for people. But yeah, that's kind of how we just did a light happy Easter thing. We have noticed pictures of our clients and our families and our babies and dogs get the most interaction. So that's what I try and post more of, least not as many graphics, even though that's what I like to do. But yeah.
And I will say we kind of revamped our 36 touch last quarter or last Q4. And we try to do a combination of everything. So whether it be like, that's why we upped to 6 client events versus 4, because we were thinking that will kind of bring people in person. And then we also have a lot of digital marketing. So we still do the handwritten birthday cards because that's a paper touch. And then, so I think for your 36 touch, it's a good idea to have a combination of everything, because I feel like so much of it is digital marketing now. So kind of steering, we do a lot of digital marketing because it's the easiest, but we do a lot of other touches throughout the year as well. And another thing, go ahead, Ellie.
Go, you can finish.
I was going to say one other thing that I don't know if you guys we started using Client Giant last year, and it's a really, I don't know, our clients have really enjoyed it, but it's like 4 personalized gifts a year, and it comes with a handwritten card that is written from you technically, or from your agent. So we do it to like our top 100 clients, and they receive like 4 personalized gifts every year from the company. So that takes all of the work away from us, but they're really cool, like seasonal gifts. So it's a cute idea.
Yeah, and in regards to events, obviously, whether we've done it in the past or not, it takes a ton of time and energy for Kennedy specifically, but some of the processes are pretty streamlined because we've done them in the past before. So for example, like our golf outing, our pie giving, we do a like Valentine's Day pizza event, and then there's one other, the family appreciation event has changed the last few years. But those are events that we do every single year. And then like Anita said, this year we added 2 more events. So we're doing 6 this year. But I feel like what's been nice about doing like kind of the same 4 types of events, like one per quarter for the last few years, has been awesome, just because every single time like somebody comes to pick up a pie or we see them at our golf outing, it's like the clients are so excited and they're like, we look forward to this every year. So just having that process streamlined and doing that once per quarter, and now adding these 2 other events like the dog event, for example, I think has been super important, because our clients look forward to it every year and know they're going to hear from us around that time of year for the invite. And Kennedy's obviously posting it on social media, and our agents are sharing it on their personal pages as well. So yeah, I think our in-person events are super important, and they're cool for the admin team since we're not out and about getting to meet people and stuff. So those are always fun, and I think a big part of our culture as well.
What social media are you guys mainly focusing on? And like, I know you've talked a little bit about like what you're posting, but are you doing more specific things like within that platform?
Do you mean like what platforms do I use the most?
Yeah.
So mostly Instagram and Facebook, but when I started, I'm trying to bring back the Twitter. There hasn't been a post in there for a few years. So that's my big rock, something to do, as well as the LinkedIn, which is something that I really want to get started. That's very important. It just hasn't been used in the past very well. So mainly Instagram and Facebook for sure. But I mean, I think it should really be on everything. And that's something that is my goal specifically for the next few months. So, yeah. And when I post something, it goes onto everything all at the same time. So more people are more likely to see it.
We also really struggle with having our agents post on their own personal social medias. I don't know if you guys struggle with that, but sorry.
Nobody posts for, like, if we ask them to post, they're like, oh yeah, we'll get around to it.
Yeah. So we try to encourage that as much as we can so we can repost stuff too, but that's been like a huge struggle for us.
And it has helped me when I first started. Some of them didn't even know how to make a story. So I did open it up to the floor. If anyone wants to meet with me, they can. And if you did, and I could tell it helped for a while and then it kind of goes off. So that would be good too, just to sit down and be like, this is how you do this. This is what your bio should look like. This is what you should have. You should change it to a real estate agent account and not just a personal account. Simple things like that will help them hopefully, but it is a hassle sometimes. But.
Are you guys?
Also, oh, sorry. I was gonna say quickly, our leasing agent, who I feel like she's been using TikTok a ton, which Kennedy's been helping her out with, but she is like obviously targeting like the generation that is using TikTok the most, who are also probably a lot of renters right now. And I don't know the exact numbers, but she's been getting like a crazy number of leads on TikTok. And she basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Kennedy, but she basically has just been like scheduling showings for herself at properties and going to take videos and making a TikTok and posting it on like both Instagram and TikTok, obviously. So I think that's been a really great platform for her to utilize specifically for leasing.
Yeah, I don't know how big your guys' leasing market is, but I think from like one day, multiple days, she's gotten 10 plus appointments from one video. So she's really, I don't know, she's been amazing at that. So yeah, posting like luxury rentals is definitely a niche little market here, but it's been working for her.
Yeah, and it doesn't even need to be rentals. I've seen just normal agents posting their open houses or when they go on showings, and or even joking around about what not to do at an open house, or when you have 10 offers on the table and yours is not picked. Things like that is easier from a agent standpoint. If you're running the social media like I am, I can't go on there and make jokes about this because I'm not an agent and I don't go on all of these things. So if any of your agents are willing to do something like that, it is a really good platform to use.
I have a question for you guys. I follow you guys on social media and I noticed like you guys are very good at, volunteering. You guys do a lot of like events, it seems like, per year. So could you kind of talk us through like your process on, that? And I feel like for our team, we kind of found it hard in the past to like get everyone, like all of our agents on board with volunteering at the same time. So like, how do you go about like scheduling those? Do you require all agents to be there on your team, or is it something that's kind of like not required but recommended? Like, if you could talk me through kind of that process.
Yeah, so this is one of my main roles as well, is planning we call it 365 days of giving. We try to do some sort of volunteer event once a month, and it can be difficult to get everybody there. But most of the time, everybody tries their hardest. I do plan them a few months out in advance and put it on their calendar so they know what's happening. They can try and work around it. Obviously, it's never going to be perfect, but I would say they all do make an effort to come. It's not, the admin are usually there every time, but they are very good. Even Josh Weinberg is there every single time. So if he can make it happen, he's a very good role model. And I think that's an accountability thing as well, that everybody should be trying to go to those. And they do, but it can be difficult. I think getting it on a calendar months in advance is very helpful.
I will also say, I don't know, Kim, how you guys have your guys' scheduling set up, but our admin team pretty much runs all of their calendars. So like any appointment that's on other than a consult, any other appointment that is on their calendar is set up by us. So we just don't schedule the appointments during the volunteer events, if that makes sense. So I think we just have a lot of control over their calendars.
Totally. Yeah, we try to too. And trying to get in the habit of letting them know, like put your personal stuff on there also, like your calendar is your Bible. We will go off of that. Like if you have a workout scheduled between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., like we won't schedule anything else on your calendar. But I think, you know, scheduling the volunteer opportunities like a couple months out is definitely helpful.
Yeah, and just having like Emily and Kevin there is a huge thing, I would say. Like Kennedy mentioned, like Josh goes to every single one. And I think that that encourages other people to go as well.
Yeah. Do you guys have set like volunteer places that you go each year, or is it kind of different each year?
It usually depends. I open it up to the team. There every Monday I bring it up, or it's on our agenda for them to add if they think of new places, or if there's old ones as well that we want to go to. So I would say a good 60% is places that they have volunteered in the past, but we do try and do some new ones as well.
Yeah, and to that point, kind of wording it like what volunteer places or whatever are important to you, and opening it up to them, giving you feedback and like giving ideas on places that they're passionate about or that they want to help in, and that will kind of give them more, I don't know, like a push to be there as well if it's important to them.
Reason to come. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, ladies.
There's a question in the chat about the golf outing, and I'm kind of spearheading that as well. So we we work with the NORA project through this, and they help a ton as well. I talk to them almost daily about how many people have signed up, and I'm working now on getting sponsors for that. So it's a pretty big event. I think there's allowed to be 145 golfers this year. I'm not sure what it was in the past. And I'm sure Allie and Anita could talk more about how it went before, because this will be my first one I'm going to and planning. So it's mainly all for the NORA project. All proceeds go to them. And yeah, I also don't know much about golf, so it's fun as well. But yeah, they can speak more on that in the past.
Yeah, I can kind of touch on it. The NORA project is just an organization that we've partnered with, and they're a really good friend of Josh and Tommy's, but their daughter has a disability, and her parents started this program where they bring kids with learning disabilities into a normal classroom, and they get to kind of have that interaction. And then at the end of the year, they do like a big movie night, and they create a movie of their experiences. So it's just a fun little organization to support. But basically as Kennedy mentioned, we partner with them, and then we basically bring the sponsorships in. We do a silent auction, and then a lot of just fundraising for it is basically what it is. So like last year, I think we raised close to $50,000. So it's a big event, and it takes us probably like 7 or 8 months to plan, but it's something that our database looks forward to every single year. And we have people like fly out for it. It's a huge event, and it's so much work, but it's definitely worth it. So yeah, I think partnering with a big fundraiser or nonprofit or something like that is definitely the way to go for an event like that size or that caliber.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I think it's in July this year, right, Kennedy? And just the fact that like planning is pretty much all taking place both this month, last month, whatever. So just getting, before, yeah, like just every year, I feel like whoever's taking the lead planning it, obviously Kennedy has been planning it already for a couple months, just getting it out to our database. Like I think you said, it might be in our newsletter that's going out. So just letting everyone know the date so far ahead of time is just super important as well. And like Anita said, it happens every year. So people look forward to it and try their absolute best to make it. So it's our biggest event by far.
Any other questions?
I have a question on the TikTok portion of social media that you guys are talking about. From an admin standpoint, do you find it hard to kind of be the one making the content for the TikTok? Is that why you have the leasing agent do it? Because from an office standpoint, I find it hard to like get cool content on TikTok because I'm not doing the showings and stuff like that.
Yes, 100%. So because of Kasia, who is our leasing specialist, if I can't go to every apartment because I'm busy in meetings or whatever I'm doing, I'll have her take a whole bunch of videos for me, and then she'll send them to me, and I'll make it and I'll post it on our personal account, which has been very helpful. Before her, I knew I wanted to be on TikTok, but it was very difficult to do that. So if you can find really any agents, like after this open house, can you just walk through it? Even if it's one long clip, you can make it into shorter ones and then put it together. That's helpful for sure.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
What other questions do you guys have for these wonderful ladies here? I know previously we've talked a lot about the agent and the team accountability pieces of it. Is there anything else has stemmed from maybe a previous conversation we've had that you want to talk about?
I have a question. I think everyone knows being an admin, it's really hard to chase down your agents and especially your rainmakers. So can you talk about just like systems that you've put in place or like, you know, setting up like a meeting every morning with, I know Allie and Tommy talk about like, they have like a one-on-one, or you used to at least, or just how do you communicate with those rainmakers / agents to make sure that you're all on the same page?
I will say, so it used to be every month. Now it's just every other month. Personally, I've been in my role for like a year and a half now, so we switched it to every other month. But Josh and I have a one-on-one, and he has his one-on-ones with everyone on the admin team, and then Krista, our lead buyer specialist, has one-on-ones with all the buyers agents every month or every other month. But I think those like reoccurring meetings that are just on everyone's calendar every month, every other month are super important, because you know, like it's just reoccurring. So it's like every Friday or every last Friday of the month at 11 a.m. I'm meeting with Josh to go over just like opportunities, successes, pain points, just like really anything that you want to talk about or that he wants to talk about with you. I think those are super important for accountability, and you know it's going to happen so far out that it's something that is on your calendar and you look forward to. As far as more like daily and weekly communication, yeah, like our weekly meetings are super important. We also do huddle every morning at 8:30 a.m. So like we'll share our gratitude, but then at the end we talk about like housekeeping or pain points. So we have that like daily communication with our entire team. And yeah, so Mondays are in person, and then Tuesday through Friday are on Zoom. Just because everyone has such different calendars and our agents are out and about more so. But yeah, I think for the admin team, like Anita was saying, that we basically have control over everyone's calendars all the time. I think the most important thing that I've learned since being virtual, and because Tommy, who I meet with the most, travels so much, is basically always, there was like a few months where I was like, I feel like I haven't talked to Tommy in like however many weeks. And obviously we need to connect every single day to go over listings and all that. Was Josh suggested like erasing and replacing, which I had never heard before, but like if Tommy for some reason he had a flight on Monday at whatever time and he had to miss our meeting, I basically would go onto his calendar and just put time for us to chat on there, so he would know and he wouldn't schedule anything else. And for some reason, if something else came up, I would do the same thing. So basically just being super holding each other accountable, but also just as an admin, holding him accountable to, no matter what, we're going to find a time to meet, whether it's Monday or if it has to be moved to Tuesday or whatever. So I think because our admin team is able to control their calendars so much, that helps a lot, since I feel like we're in one place and able to be more flexible in regards to appointments and stuff. It's been helpful having control of their schedules, but yeah, just making sure we're holding each other accountable and that a meeting is always going to happen and never going to be pushed back or missed. So I think erasing or replacing has been super helpful for me. And yeah, we have a team calendar too, so we can basically see everyone's schedules, and if you're out of office, everyone puts that on the team calendar. So I think that's leveraging a team calendar is super important as well.
I can answer the profit share question if we want to jump to that. So our profit share is you're eligible for profit share in our team after you've been on the team for 3 months or you've graduated out of your 30, 60, 90. And the profit share is calculated. We basically take the whole profit share for the previous quarter after all of our expenses and after reviewing the P&Ls, and then we take the total number for each team member that's eligible. We take the total number of the months that they've been on the team and divide it by the total number of months that everyone's been on the team. So you get more profit share as you've been on the team longer. So that's how we have it structured. If that, yeah, I don't know. That's exactly how I calculate it. I know it kind of sounds confusing, but yeah, so you just take every single team member, all of their months combined, and then divide that by how many they've been on the team. So yeah, hope that answers your question. We have an accountant that we work with, and he pretty much just puts everything into QuickBooks, and then I review the P&L with Josh Weinberg every single first of the quarter. So we don't necessarily do the bookkeeping ourselves. We have a third party that does that for us.
And we do meet every single day, even if Josh and Tommy are on vacation. I just saw that in the chat. We do still try and, talk about housekeeping, whatever needs stuff. We discuss, especially when they're gone, just make sure everything's still running smoothly.
Yeah, I would just say the biggest thing for accountability in our team is all of the communication. And everyone is really, really good at communication. It's really hard to hold people accountable that don't want to be held accountable. So if you're like trying so hard to hold to be accountable, it's probably a them problem, not a you problem. Our admin team does not work weekends, and we have a very strict no weekend policy on our team. And I think that definitely helps with our admin team retention. And I will say setting boundaries for yourself is huge. And I didn't think that I could do that when I first started. And now I just set that with after 5:30 p.m. on Friday to 8:30 a.m. on Monday. If anything comes through, it is that agent's responsibility to respond, the lead agent. And I know on Allie's end with showing requests, I will say we just hired somebody that strictly does all scheduling on our team. That's buyer showings, listing showings, everything. So that one person we have 4 or 3 client experience specialists that do a lot of our showings, and their calendars were being managed by multiple people. And we found that streamlining it to one person that does all scheduling has been so helpful, because then they're not running all over the city. He can kind of base it on who's going into this area, who's going to this area. So we kind of streamline that way. And another thing that's helped a ton is having a scheduling. And I don't know how many of you guys are on teams or individual, but we have a scheduling at Weinberg Choi email now, where all of our buyer showings are requested through that from every single buyer. And that just kind of alleviated the confusion of a ton of people being involved. So no matter if we switch the roles or if it's the weekend or whatever it may be, that scheduling email, everyone that's on the buyer team gets that email. So I think that makes it a lot easier on the client's end too. So that's something we just implemented not that long ago, but it's been a really big help.
Yeah, same thing for listing showings. All listing showings, whether it's Tommy or Tony or other listing agents listing, all listing showings go to showings at Weinberg Choi, which is just another email that everyone on the listing team plus Josh plus Dan, who Anita was referring to, that we recently just hired for scheduling. So basically like we very, very much so value our time off on the weekends and nights. And our team is very respectful of that, because obviously we appreciate just setting those boundaries so we can enjoy our weekends and times off and reset. So on the weekends when nobody's doing the scheduling, obviously Josh or Tommy or the buyer's agent can respond to that, either showing request or buyer request to see a property. So we've streamlined that process, I think, pretty well.
Kathy, sorry for your question for what do agents pay for? Do you mean What do you mean by that?
I think she means like if they pay for their like any of their own marketing or
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that just comes out of their cut to the team. So we just take like further split. So they don't have any additional expenses for marketing or anything like that. Just it's all comes with the split. And then what was the other question?
What about if agents want to host their own client events for just their portion?
Yeah, so they will have to present the plan for that to us within, I think it's 45 days in advance at least. And then if that is approved by the team, then we've never not approved it because they're pretty good about organizing all that, but Weinberg Choi will cover 50% of the cost of their own client event. And then we typically encourage them to partner with a lender and things like that. We don't necessarily have a cap of expenses. We encourage them to try to do one event per quarter. To be fully transparent, that's probably never happened. They host like a couple a year, if that, but they just don't have the time, or they think they don't have the time to plan it. So that's kind of their own pain point. But we do have that in place where if they do want to plan their own event, we will cover 50%. And then like I was about to say, if they have like a lender partner or an attorney partner, then that other 50% could be covered. So that's kind of on them, but we do have that in place. And then as far as lead processing, our business is 99% referral based. So we don't really have leads that need to be processed through like a lead processing like Zillow and that. It's mostly past client referrals or things like that. So it's already like a warm lead. And we just kind of determine it based on if they reach out to Josh or Tommy, or if it's a past client referral, obviously if that agent had already worked with them, but if it's Josh and Tommy, they kind of will look at like the personality of the client and who they would be the best match with, or they just kind of do it in a round robin way. So whoever got the last lead and the next person. So we don't have a set process on that, but mostly every lead is distributed equally.
I'm sorry, I think you touched on this briefly earlier, but what does the internal actual process look like? Like, does Tommy email the contact information or forward an email? Who does that go to? And then or do they just email the agent directly? Like, who's responsible for using that referral tracking sheet?
Yeah, so if a lead comes through, let's say Tommy, and it's a buyer lead and he wants to introduce it to our teammate Krista, he'll just copy them on an email and just say, here's our buyer's agent, Krista. She'll be happy to help you to set up a buyer consultation. And then at that point, Krista is responsible for updating that referral tracking spreadsheet. And it would say, this person was referred to me by Tommy. And then that's just where that lead is tracked. If it's like an agent referral, so let's say like you were to reach out to Tommy and say, I have a buyer in Chicago, can you intro them? Tommy would copy Krista, you, and the agents, and then just put them all on an email. And then at that point, Krista would again be responsible for adding your name to the referral spreadsheet so we could send you a mug. So it kind of falls back on the agent. The initial intro is just done by Tommy.
I have a question for you guys from a team perspective. How do you market? I don't know how to ask this question. How do you market a newsletter, for example, if you're sending out a team newsletter? How do you adjust it to be agent specific rather than team specific? So basically, like if I were to send out a newsletter from the team, but the agent wants it to specifically have their information on it, I know from command, there's only so many aspects that you can personalize to the individual agent. So would you guys only use like your team picture, or would you have individual pictures on there? I don't know if my question is necessarily making sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. We don't do that. We don't necessarily do individual marketing for our agents. Okay. So we do all team marketing. Unless, like Kennedy mentioned earlier, somebody wants to sit one-on-one and ask her how she does that stuff so they could do it on their own. We don't market our agents as individual agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
In regards to the Tommy's email question, so because it's us three on the admin team, so we used to have, or I guess I should say I used to be the executive concierge, and then there was another girl on our team that was, and the executive concierge we're currently, I think, looking for somebody to take this on again, but that person would manage both Tommy and Josh's inbox and their scheduling. Josh more so needs it than Tommy. So Tommy's very good at like responding to emails pretty promptly, and he is traveling a lot, but he's not necessarily like, I don't honestly know how he does it. He is very good about responding to things, scheduling his own speaking engagements, all of that. Like he was just on spring break last week with his family, and I obviously knew that, so I would respond to things more so that I probably wouldn't, just letting them know like, hey, Tommy's out of town, so his response time might be delayed, but I can help you as far as I can, basically. But yeah, we are looking for somebody to eventually take back on Tommy and Josh's inbox and scheduling. We just don't have that right now. So it's kind of on both Josh and Tommy to do their own inbox. And I know Kennedy, part of her role is helping Josh just clean up his inbox, and then he'll do all his own scheduling and stuff. But yeah, that's something that we have had coverage on before. Right now, we currently don't, but yeah, they've been managing pretty much their own emails and scheduling for a year or so now. So
Yes, so I do help with Josh, basically just so it's not at 300 plus emails every time, but somehow every time I go back in there, it's there. So yeah, I help him. And then to touch on the Facebook ads, there isn't necessarily a budget for it, but I did start off kind of testing the waters and seeing if I spend this much, how many leads or how much interaction will we get for that. And I've kind of settled on a 3 to 4 leads a month, and I usually set them at $40 for over a week. That's just kind of where our sweet spot is. That's how we get the best outcome. You could do them for a lot less or a lot shorter time or for a month. It doesn't really matter, but that's just what I've seen helps us. And it's not, I mean, it can get to about $120, but it's something that we've really enjoyed, and I like doing them, and I think it's very helpful.
Do you guys have, on the topic of accountability, anything that the agents need to do in order to stay on the team? Like if they don't do X, Y, or Z, they can't be on the team anymore?
Yeah, I mean, we have a standard for all of the agents, and it's basically 200 contract per month, X amount of calls, whatever it may be per week. And our lead buyer specialist is, she holds them accountable to that. So the admin team does not hold them accountable to their goals. She does, but if they do not hit the 2 per month, then they're put on a performance improvement plan. They sign a document saying that they're going to hit the 2 under contract within the next 3 months, and then it kind of restarts over again.
Got it.
So, yeah. And that's obviously just like the standard. They have their own goals for more.
All right, does anyone else have any questions before we wrap up? Nope. All right. Well, thank you, Weinberg Choi ladies. We really, really appreciate it. We're all grateful for you. I'm grateful for you, especially. And I think everyone definitely got a piece of helpful information. So
Yeah. Thank you guys
really
so much
appreciate
for having
it.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Good weekend.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Have a
you
good
too.
weekend.
Enjoy
Bye.
the sun.
Yes, you do.